So today we're going to dive into this really powerful idea called Navratna. It's all about building a kind of brain for your entire organization. And it's designed to solve a huge problem that pretty much every single growing company runs into. A problem that starts with a pretty surprising truth. Okay, so let's start right here, because this quote really gets to the heart of what Navratna is trying to fix. It's a little counterintuitive, isn't it? You'd think failure comes from a lack of creativity or innovation. But if it's not bad ideas, then what on earth is the real culprit? And there it is. That's our answer. The real problem isn't external, it's internal. As companies get bigger, good ideas just get lost. They get fragmented, they get watered down, or they just get forgotten in the day-to-day chaos. It's like trying to hold on to smoke. This whole phenomenon actually has a name, the organizational forgetting curve. So let's dig into exactly why this happens and what it actually feels like when you're on the inside dealing with it. And you know what's crazy? I bet these symptoms feel incredibly familiar. Context just vanishes between meetings. You find yourself making the exact same decision you made 6 months ago. Those brilliant insights you got from that AI chat, poof, gone. And maybe the most frustrating one of all? You have the same debates over and over and over again because coordination has just completely broken down. All right, so that's the problem. It's a big one. So what's the fix? Well, this is where Navratna comes in, and it's described not as just another tool, but as a symbiotic thinking layer. So what does that actually mean? A symbiotic organizational brain. Well, it's a system that's always learning. It's not here to replace people or AI. It's here to bring them together, to unify human judgment, AI reasoning, and actually getting things done. And the secret sauce? Memory. Think of it like the connective tissue that holds the company's entire thought process together. Okay, to really make this hit home, let's walk through a story that is probably way too relatable for many of you. We'll call it a day of confusion. It's all about what happens when a simple customer request comes in and context gets completely lost. So, it all starts where it usually does, with sales. Dhruva, he sees a huge win. A customer wants a feature, and hey, building it would solve a problem he hears about from other prospects all the time. Seems like a total no-brainer, right? But of course, right away, we hear a different story. Mandar, over in product, hits the brakes. Yeah, that feature might be great for one deal, but it just doesn't fit the long-term vision for the product. And there it is, the very first crack in alignment. Then engineering chimes in. Vinayak says, sure, we can do it, but it's not simple. This thing touches everything, front end, back end, infrastructure. And you know what that means? It's going to be complicated, and it's going to be expensive in terms of time and people. And the practical problems just keep piling up. Samarth points out the immediate impact. If they decide to do this now, something else has to get pushed. The current sprint? It's going to slip. Other work they've already promised is going to be late. And it doesn't stop there. Pronit, the tech lead, is looking at the long game. He knows that rushing this thing now just means creating tech debt, a messy shortcut that the team will be paying for, with interest, for months, maybe even years. Then Ajinkya, the architect, raises an even bigger red flag. Are we actually improving the system here, or are we just bending it out of shape for a quick win, making everything harder to build in the future? And finally, Johan from the business side asks the million-dollar question. Are we just solving one customer's problem here, or are we setting a precedent for our entire business strategy? And you know what happens next, right? A meeting gets scheduled, everyone re-explains their context for the 5th time, and the decision gets kicked down the road. It's just chaos. Okay, deep breath. Now let's rewind the tape on that exact same day. But this time let's imagine Navratna is there acting as that organizational brain. This is where you see how just remembering changes everything. See, the magic here is the process. Instead of all that human chaos, Navratna follows a few clear steps. It pulls in the historical context for everybody involved. Dhruva's past sales data, Mandar's product roadmaps, Pronit's notes on tech debt. Then AI models get to work, analyzing all the trade-offs. It synthesizes everything, and then recommends a clear path forward. And just look at what it spits out. It's not a simple yes or no. It's smart, it's nuanced, it's backed by data. It says, yeah, this will help sales now, but our own history shows it leads to higher churn and maintenance costs down the line. And then it proposes a brilliant compromise, a smaller, more focused version that gets the win without breaking the system. I mean, this slide says it all, right? It's a tale of two completely different days. Without Navratna, the day ends with another meeting on the calendar and a postponed decision. Total frustration. With Navratna, the day ends with a signed-off decision, an approved scope, and work actually being assigned. The whole organization moves forward together. Okay, so we've seen what it does and why it's so powerful. But how does it actually work? Let's pop the hood for a second and take a quick look inside this brain to understand its 4-layer architecture. This is how all that chaos we saw gets turned into clarity. So if you look here, you can see how it all connects. It starts with the ingestion layer that just sucks in all the raw data from Slack, from code repositories, from documents, all the places those conversations are scattered. Then the knowledge graph layer doesn't just store it, it structures it into a decision memory. So it knows who decided what and, crucially, why. Next, the reasoning layer uses AI to analyze that memory and spot patterns, like that churn risk. And finally, the execution layer closes the loop, turning those insights into actual tasks in the tools your team is already using. So, okay, why is this such a big deal? This brings us to the final and I think most important idea here. This isn't just about hiring more people or buying more software. This is about a fundamental shift in how we think about growth. It's about moving from scaling people to scaling judgment. This right here, this is the transformation we're talking about. It's a total shift in thinking. What used to be fragile tribal knowledge locked in people's heads becomes solid, dependable infrastructure. What was a one-time AI chat becomes real institutional learning. And what was a decision that just vanished into thin air becomes a reusable asset that the entire organization can build on. And that all leads to this incredibly powerful idea. See, the goal isn't just better execution. The goal is to create a system where good judgment compounds on itself, day after day. When you solve for that, better, faster, more aligned execution just becomes the natural outcome. It's like you're building an intelligence flywheel for your entire company. So I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. What would change in your organization? What new things would become possible if your company as a whole could never, ever forget? It's a pretty big question, and it's the one that Navratna is trying to answer. Thanks for joining me.